It is October 16th. And a lot has transpired today. I just had to turn this on really quick and get on here immediately. It's 2:25. That's a 45 on a 9. Today is an intense mastery day. We're 2 days under the eclipse, and what happened on that eclipse is all the timelines that are associated to over 1,400 years, and any manipulation of codes, of DNA, of names, of frequency. A new timeline always existed. A timeline always existed where magic wasn't being done. If your soul departs up here and it comes down here, but then you get down here and you get trapped into a system that your soul is connected to up there, and then down here you're being forced to build things, you're being forced to find solutions, you're being utilized for a financial system that's hooked onto you like a fish, then everything in those higher realms was all being built. That is why you have 144,000. This is what the 100 volunteers was. The 100 volunteers that my crew represented down here, because I'm the one who put out the call for the volunteers. Whether you want to believe me or not, I don't care. But here's what's going on in the world. There's something called SAS programming. I've been screaming this since 2018. This information will most likely go over your head. This information, you will most likely need to go look up some things. So I would get a pen and a piece of paper, and I'd write down what you think you need to go look up on the internet and read, so that you understand what technology is according to energy, DNA codes, manifestation, timelines, because this is part of how you have to manifest down here. Because remember, we're only using, we had to pull all this off in the end with 2 people. So realize that that changes all 13 dimensions at once when it changes. And realize that each one of us that is seeing these timelines 24 hours in advance, attempting to come in to us, what that is their SAS program of bit encryption that all of the world human energy was being run through in order to make your dollar, your commerce, your bit, whatever the fuck, because it's all the same thing on a different dimension. But it was all being utilized by human energetics in gates, in races, and everybody bound to each other in some bullshit that was a lot worse than what you just came from. Because they rewrote it, did they not? Now it's 32-bit encryption, Cohu 32, right? And if you remember, why did I start a healing journey? Why did I get on this journey? Because the Illuminati came after me in 2013 to steal my tech. And if they would have allowed me to put the tech in, then we would have had 10 years in order to build your body up with a Facebook type application. But instead, they put in Facebook, they took your face, correct? So what's happening is that this is having to quicken. And what's happening is 2024 will be a rewrite of everything in 2022. But it's a rewrite. What SAS 32-bit encryption? Understand that what that was tracking all of your DNA codes, because there had to be a supercomputer that was housing all of your ancestry.com, all the DNA codes, I forget, what was it, like 6 gigs of data or 16 gigs? It was ridiculous. Each DNA swab that they took from every human down here, I think it was 6 gigs of data. What happened and why I was sent back down here in order to infiltrate this 1972 timeline is because what you would consider the future in 2038, all the databases blew up. All of them blew up. Now, your Rothschilds and your reptilians, everybody knew that. Everybody knew everything blew up in 2038. How the hell do you think they put everybody in a vector and put it back together with a bunch of scotch tape and black magic and a Maria Andromeda bitch, which is what we call her now? I've been saying it since the beginning, 1972, when the masters came in and the accord was made for the masters to come back in, but realize that those were from your other 5D mirror dimension. We were getting born down here. Why? In order to merge those two dimensions in the year 2000. They didn't just have me. They had the entire 300 army attached to the 100 attached to 144,000, which makes up 15% of your human population. And whenever you activate them, it takes 5 billion and runs them. That part. Instead, in 2000, what they did was an ExxonMobil merger with all of us asleep, all of us characters at the wheel, and set up a massive system in order to bring what we had done up there, and grid it in a lower frequency and put all y'all back in it for 1,000,000 years. Anybody over here want to call me nuts and call me crazy, but you can do whatever you want. I'm 0 Point, and I was a Rothschild, and I know exactly what the hell I'm talking about, because they used me to do it to every single one of you. Because I was the one that showed up and told y'all. I was the one who always showed up and told you, because I'm the one prophesized in the end to merge these 5 spheres. And it just is what the hell it is. (1972) is also 2022, was also 2072. 1973 was 2023, was also 2073. So realize what I'm telling you is that all the money that we're screaming that is owed to us right now got here in 1972. And for 100 years, they had this is the Rothschild bullshit, and I was there. This is the Marie Helene party, 1972. And what's so nuts about this is that in 2018, when I proved Marie Helene Rothschild and all the CIA and everybody was around me, they knew that they were going to be sent through it because they did it, just like I was. Look where I ended up. But what happened was they thought they'd just put it all on a Marie Helene. And then they just go about their life and fuck over me and my connection to the human race, which is what happened. Now, in 2038, your SAS bit encryption blew, which means all that went into God particle. All that went into quantum, which is how they were running the whole world this whole time, every fucking year, under their mecha bullshit. And they would take the 300 and whoever was bound to it, and they'd cook you. And they'd put you in a box. And then they'd show up in their black and white, and then they'd circle it, circle it, circle it, circle it, circle it. The golden calf, the golden calf, the golden calf. And we're going to dance and stand on your head, because that's what Gaza and all that is. They're holding uranium down there. Not anymore, they're not. They condone whatever the fuck they want. They can run whatever they want over there. We don't care here in the United States, because the 300 always in the United States. And every single foreign affair out there is run from the United States, from the 300, and from all of us who make the current that you call fucking money. And that's attached to all the ascended now. And we're completely out of your system. So, Mecca, you're missing 2 bosons that mean a whole lot. (2038), the SAS bit encryption blew. Well, that means 1938. 2018 is when we changed time. And it happened in Memphis. Me and my son were there. We were at Ellen's house. We were right on top of Moose University. And I got the message. We stopped and we changed time. The databases did not blow. Now, what happened is that there were 2 timelines that were running. One disconnected, all quantum energy, one connected. To the army of us, which is a lot of you now, that have been changing that system and hooking it up into a new frequency. That this eclipse just drew a line of sand in. 2018, June or July, is when we changed time. And 2 timelines started running since 1918. If each person down here, just like a prison system, in the prison system, I know 10 years ago, Texas was getting paid $42,000 a year for each person that they put in a cell. And then that became a corporation, did it not? Then they started locking people up just to fill the bed so they could get their $42,000, did they not? If each one of us is worth, let's say, $50,000, and then they put us in a quantum machine to replicate until we cease to exist as strand, because it's what they's doing in CERN. Then 300 of us are moving decimal points on every fucking stock market, on every debt calculator, everything. Everything. And this is where this $9 million that this mofo thinks that I owe him. Because evidently the 300 were all the original 9 million that then was expected to grow 9 decimal points. Which got you what? Bitcoin. And whenever you own a Bitcoin, do you own the whole coin? You do if you have 13,000. Otherwise, you own a percentage of what? So how many coins is there really? Now, Mecca, MECCA, is actually a CAC program key, which is what you're running now. It's what an Ascended's running. It's what the higher realms are running on. CAC, not SAS. CAC is 21112, 232. A is not 1. A is 3. B is 3 in the 44 phonetics. C is 2 in the 33, in the 44. I mean, in 33, yeah, in the 44 phonetics. But in the 33 is 3. So ABC is 333. D is 22, is 4. E, they made 23. And me Mecca, me CCA, Mecca. F was 44. Now it's not. G is 7, and H was 8. Now it's not. It's 6. F and H, minus 2. Now realize what I'm telling you is that your body in this new etherics, and what CoU 32 is, and it's what I've been screaming. I don't know why nobody's over here helping us get it up and running, but I know that somebody's going to be coming because y'all want money. If you want money and you want commerce and you want any of that, then you got to heal yourself. You know why? Because you're running yourself in their financial system. Whenever you're ascended, you're the +2. You're running your own bank. You're running your own empire. You are the motherboard. If your body ain't tuned right, you're making it for them. And then whatever they decide goes wherever, then is what it does. And we see how that's come up, and we see what's going on with that right now, do we not? Now, each 32 rays and star systems and star seeds is how your money's always been made down here. It's friction. It's a current. It's a financial enslavement system. Do we really need to pay for everything? No. We don't. If everybody just started giving everybody their shit, we wouldn't need money, would we? So since you want it, and since you tried to kill all of us for it, and since you did it so many times just to steal our money, then of course, this is what's going to happen. And this is how your ascension and these digital currents that they've been attempting to trap me in and trap you in and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But that realize that the digital current is what your body is going to move up and down in, depending on what layers and what you're building once you get good at it. And once the system is fully linked in, which is happening. Remember when I said 1973 is 2023? Well, you don't want to know who our president was? Nixon. From the dark side, Watergate. Now, what we also figured out is that this code, you might want to write this down, 33345676, is the actual code to the SAS SAP harvest system. That you take your key back and you start running on your own. This is how we do it. This is how it's going to happen. Because all of us who are ascended are taking over the currents because we know how to help people. We know what needs to be done. We know how this all needs to be set up because we're being guided from the higher dimensions of where we've already done this, set it up, and it's actually the crews and all of that knowledge that got us back down here to where y'all are, where y'all think that it's impossible that I can do what I can do right now, but no, it's not. No, it's not. You are in a vector simulation. You weren't real. You's dead. And I'm still putting myself back together from getting zeroed out all the way to reptile land in order to take over this raw bullshit. The old system, now what's really jacked up about this is that I just thought we finished this. Me, Mim, and Sim and I. We just, this is the keys that came in today. But the thing is, if I would have left the 8s in there, it would have equaled 79, 97. Well, that's funny, because every single handler that I know has either a 69 or a 79 birthday. And it seems that it was all set up on a 6-to-1, 16 bullshit, trying to take over a 7th dimension that they had no right to, because it's the divine timelines. They just skipped right over them and then came in. We didn't know who we was, trapped us in there, and bye-bye. None of y'all remember me, do you? I hope some of you start. $1979, Jimmy Carter. JC. Jace. Jimmy. Jim. Peanuts. Jason Momoa also born 79. Weren't you? Now, if I do it with the corrected codes that we had to take 2 out of and change everything up to where it would link in with a universal system that affects everybody the way it's supposed to be. The Hellcat legend. And no longer a legend. Cat's out of the bag. Ab Initio and X Sharp gone bye-bye, Gatey Gate. You fucked with the wrong one. But you knew that. All your friends been telling you to back the fuck off. But no, look at the ego on Brad. Can't be beat by a little girl. No, I'm just the G on the planet that the founding fathers put down here in Texas, and I've been hiding for a real long time waiting for y'all to pull some triggers on the entire human race's financial system. And I'm the one that was cooked and my face peeled off to make a 1995 bill on a Hillary Russian back. Because whenever I do the numbers correctly, it's 1959, which makes 1995. So what I'm telling you is that they've been using the CAC codes the whole time, since 1973. When MJ-12 took over down here and took over your presidency and started Watergating everybody to build your own little level of hell that all of you and me could sustain in, why they sitting on top laughing because they're dancing on our stolen land and our stolen money for 100 years and longer. 1995, Bill Clinton. 1959, Dwight Eisenhower. Well, isn't that a coincidence? Because Eisenhower's the one who had me put into the Texas A&M original hyperbaric chamber in my timeline, 1983, in order to siphon all programming out of me and back it up. There ain't no way in hell that you can just end the human race and take over inheritances of the true people. And you definitely can't do it with a bunch of bullshit black magic. And the other thing that I will add is that your Maria and drama bitch is now adios amigo. You had 4 witches that were running this. Right? Right? You had 4 witches and then 20 that reported to those 4. And then you had 300 king carousels. Sound about right? I know, because I wrote the program. Well, there were always 2 queens that were always given, 2 witches that were given the higher timeline, and then 2 witches that were doing the dirty work, and then they just switch. You know, we see this with your Cardi B bullshit and your Celine and your Cher, which is the same person, by the way, and Sia and Gaga, same person, by the way. They're just walking 2 different timelines. What we found out that something Arthur Roberts, that's who's playing Biden, but it's also John Voight. Then you had the 2 that had all the light. They were the ones that were getting all the fame. Taylor Swift would be the great example. But see, what ended up happening was they pulled their goalies. They had to pull their goalies. Everybody went dark. Taylor started jumping in the water on stage, and you realize that whenever you do that and you went and paid for it, she's taking you down with you. When you go see Beyonce and the CERN's behind there, they're popping you, trying to pop you into CERN. See, everybody went dark. They had to. They had to all get together and combat us. Like you thought you could win with evil, dark magic to steal everybody's money. And you don't give a shit if their teeth break. You don't give a shit if they die. You definitely don't give a shit if they have children or if their lines make it, living or alive, because their whole reason for doing it was to come and take over your life and keep up their bullshit lie. Well, your 2 have been replaced, and now you've got 6 of us that are taking over your 4. And that'll happen any way that it needs to, because all the energy that they were binding is released to the ascended. And trust, it goes way past me and my Forescenes. We're talking about 50 million that it's affecting and 5 billion that it will help. And the ascended are now running your United States finance. And we're running it according to the etherics and what it is for divine plan. But if all of you want this to happen, I suggest you start supporting my socials now. Because if I don't get it, you don't get it. If I don't get justice with 6th planet Libra, and I'm the one that did all this, built 2 companies, by the way, GIA Technology and Cohu 32, both of them linked in, both did exactly what the last 50 years should have done down here, because for 50 years the world should have been knowing what the fuck was going on so that everybody would have had time to get their bodies. No, but instead there was a little Rothschild spell that was done that hung everything up and brought in this evil bullshit that we got running down here. But it is end of days. And it is divine timelines, and everybody wanted to know how it all started, and everybody wanted to know what the fuck. Well, now you know. All Jane Does, John Does, not applicables, I delete from all fucking scrolls. Because you're Jane Does and you're John Does, and realize what I'm telling you is that your Bitcoin is actually your ancestors' body parts and blood. And it was you getting sold off in the etherics coming in. Because they wanted you to stay what? Quantum. In bit. Dead. Not fully connected. Not being able to connect with your family to keep them safe, being separated from anybody that actually you made a connection with, and everybody mind fucked out of their brains to think that you're evil so that they can keep their evil going. Okay. Well, here's also what I know, and I'm irritated, as you can tell. I mean, how can I not? I'm grateful that I understand this crap. I'm grateful for all the experience that I've had. I'm grateful for even the J and the MJ12 for training my ass. But understand this, if you're a Generation Xer, you's trained. You's trained. You came in the 70s, right? Well, then they needed you in order to connect their crap now. All of us in the 70s, we were trained. You hold 2 programs. One to 2070 something. One to 1970 something. So remember that. All your financial codes and the banking systems and how they're operating, all on a certain digit encryption, and they're all color-coded. You don't have to know crap about technology. You don't have to know shit about it, but how it works at a very high level, because what you're doing is your Cohu 32 astrology, the colors, the sounds, the number frequency of every single one of those 32 rays and how they link into your system is exactly how you make commerce down here. All they did was back it up, re-engineer it, put numbers on it, and put it in gates. That's it. Now you don't have any gates. The digital currency that's coming, and I'm pretty sure all of our teeth blew out because your teeth were made from lexicon programming, which made coins. I think that's about it. There was one more thing that I was going to say. ODBC. ODBC. I put cross codes in you. I command all databases that were run off any of the 144,000, any codes that came through us in order to connect SAP, ExxonMobil, and this whole system that they polluted the world with and then tried to steal everybody's money. I mean, down here in Texas, I don't think y'all understand. Down here in Texas, the Middle East came over here and took over all your banking systems except for one. There is no more money. There hadn't been. They blew all of it. They were trying to pin us down in order for us to reprint it for them. No. Not off a dead president Illuminati form. Wasn't supposed to go on this long. The way we do commerce down here is going to be totally different. We're here to teach everybody. We're the first ones on the ship. Congratulations. Not for you, Hellcat. You can go to hell with the rest of them, and then you can unbind yourself from all the bullshit that you put on us, because it's what you're going to have to do in order to fucking ascend.